The celestial spire pierced the crimson sky of Dracoria Prime like a talon of obsidian and starlight. Within its highest chamber, Prince Kael'thir lay upon cushions of silk and sorrow, his magnificent scales dulled by years of confinement. The Dragon Prince's wings, once destined to carry him across galaxies, hung limp and twisted at his sides, a cruel jest of genetics that had rendered the Emperor's only heir flightless and immobile. Another day, Kael'thir whispered to the empty hall, his golden eyes tracking the distant shapes of dragons soaring beyond his windows. Another day of watching life pass by. The great Dragon Emperor had summoned physicians from 1,000 worlds. Gene weavers, quantum surgeons, and reality benders had all attempted to restore his son's ability to walk or fly. Each had failed. The condition was absolute, a mutation so rare that even the dragon's vast medical archives held no cure. Prince Kael'thir would never walk. He would never fly. He would never be whole. The palace staff had learned to treat him with pitying reverence, serving him silently before retreating from the weight of his tragedy. Until the day Alara Wynn arrived. She was human, a species the dragons had uplifted from their war-torn homeworld centuries ago. Humans served throughout the Draconian Empire as merchants, soldiers, and yes, servants, but they were rarely assigned to the royal household. Alara had been different, though. Her application had been insistent, almost desperate. The steward, drowning in paperwork and short on staff, had accepted without much thought. When she entered Kael'thir's chamber that first morning, she didn't avert her eyes. She didn't whisper condolences. Instead, she set down her cleaning supplies, walked directly to his cushioned platform, and said, "Your Highness, I'm told you enjoy astronomy. The meteor shower tonight should be spectacular from the eastern balcony. Would you like me to set up a viewing station?" Kael'thir blinked, stunned. "I cannot reach the eastern balcony." "Not by yourself, no," Alara said matter-of-factly. "But I have 2 perfectly good legs and a hover cart rated for 300 kilograms. You look like you weigh, what, 250? Something dangerous flickered in the prince's chest. Hope. "You would transport me?" "That's what I just said, wasn't it?" She smiled, and it was genuine. Not the practiced court smile he'd endured his entire life, but something real and warm. "Give me 20 minutes to finish my duties and we'll get you there." True to her word, Alara returned with a modified hover cart. The palace guards watched in bewilderment as the human maid carefully, respectfully, helped maneuver the prince onto the platform. His atrophied legs dangled uselessly, but for the first time in years, Kael'thir felt the wind on his face as they glided toward the balcony. The meteor shower was indeed spectacular. But more spectacular was the running commentary Alara provided. Not patronizing explanations, but excited observations, questions about Dragonstar lore, and wild theories about where the meteors might have originated. She treated him not as a tragedy, but as a person. "Why?" Kael'thir asked when the shower ended and the moons rose pale and silver. "Why do you treat me this way?" Alara was quiet for a moment. "My brother was born without his legs," she said finally. "On Earth, before the dragons came, we had limited medical technology. Everyone treated him like he was broken, like he was less. But he wasn't. He was brilliant, kind, and braver than any of us. He taught me that mobility isn't the measure of a person's worth. Where is he now?" "He died in the war, fighting for humanity's freedom before the dragons intervened." Her voice carried old pain but no bitterness. "He never got to see the peace. Never got to see humans walk among the stars as equals. But I carry his lesson with me. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. Everyone deserves to live, not just exist." From that night, everything changed. Alara began taking Kael'thir beyond his chamber regularly. To the gardens, to the libraries, to the starship docks where he could watch vessels arrive from distant worlds. She designed better mobility aids, collaborated with human engineers who approached problems differently than dragon physicians. She didn't try to fix him. She tried to help him live, the court whispered. The Emperor watched with uncertain eyes. But Kael'thir bloomed like a star going nova. He began studying xenobiology, politics, and engineering. He started attending council meetings via hologram, then, with Alara's help, in person. His insights proved sharp and valuable. The Empire's heir, long written off as a tragic symbol, was becoming a leader. The unthinkable happened on the anniversary of Alara's first year of service. The Emperor had summoned her to the throne room, and the entire court had assembled. Kael'thir was there too, positioned prominently in his advanced mobility chair, a collaborative design between human and dragon engineers. Inspired by Ilara's tireless advocacy, "Ilara win," the Emperor rumbled, his massive form radiating power and age. "You have done what none could do. Not through medicine or technology, but through something my kind had forgotten. You reminded us that a dragon's worth is not measured in flight, but in heart and mind." He gestured, and servants brought forward a case of starlight crystal. "I name you Ambassador of Human-Dragon Relations and grant you a seat on the Imperial Council. Furthermore," the Emperor's golden eyes gleamed, "my son wishes to speak." Kael'thir activated his chair's hovering function, raising himself to address the assembly. His voice carried strength that had been absent for years. "The dragons have a saying, to soar is to live. I believed I would never live. But Ilara taught me that humans have a saying too. Not all who wander are lost. She showed me that there are many ways to soar, through ideas, through connection, through refusing to let limitations define you." He looked at her directly, gratitude and something deeper shining in his eyes. "My father may rule the Empire, but you, Ilara Wynn, have ruled something far more important. You've ruled hope, and for that you have my eternal thanks and my friendship." The court erupted in approval, dragons roaring, humans cheering. Ilara stood stunned, tears streaming down her face. Later, on the eastern balcony under familiar stars, Kael'thir and Ilara watched another meteor shower. The prince's advanced chair hummed softly, its anti-gravity generators keeping him level with her gaze. "I still can't walk," he said quietly. "I still can't fly." "No," Ilara agreed, taking his clawed hand in her small human one. "But you soar anyway, every single day." And in that moment, with the stars as witnesses and hope as their wings, the dragon prince who could never fly finally understood what it meant to truly soar. In the Draconian Empire, they still tell the story of the human maid who changed a dynasty, not with magic or technology, but with something far more powerful: the simple, radical belief that every being deserves dignity, compassion, and the chance to reach for the stars.